at home.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And if you like our content, subscribe, share, you know,
And like it.
yeah, and like. Let us know that you appreciate what we're doing out here. Now, today we are looking at a topic that I don't think other people really look at and understand. We're looking at 6 words we want to use, videos, maybe 3, you know. So what we want to do, we want to give, we come up with this formula to a long lasting relationship between you and your child, you and your spouse, your brother, your sister, even your co-worker.
That's right.
And the ingredients goes like this: truth, trust, understanding, peace, love, and definitely respect.
Bam.
We want to work with these here because we figure like this: if you got those type of qualities, and if you got all of them working in the same direction, doing their job as we put them out there, you can't have nothing but a long-lasting relationship with any individual that you approach.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know, breaking down reason why me myself, the reason why I come up, I figure like this: you come up with the first word, truth.
Okay.
No, truth. That is a heavyweight right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Muhammad Ali and a George Foreman right there. You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's a heavyweight.
It is.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those words when it grabs you and you think about it. He told me the truth. She told me the truth.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
The truth. Now, we've heard the cliches, you can't handle the truth. And some people at some periods of times, I'm sure they probably could not handle the truth. But nevertheless, the truth is always the best
Yes.
form of respect to someone.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it may hurt, but I'd rather you tell me the truth
Right.
than tell me a lie, and then we continue to go on, and when you find out it's a lie, and you've wasted all this time and energy, and sometimes just with the knowledge, it's just decisions and things, choices that you can make in that regard. But you know, but like you said, you started off with truth, so let's talk about it a little bit. Let's unpack truth.
Okay.
Because a lot of thoughts in my mind, but let's unpack that.
Okay. Well, my denomination of truth is take your little child, for instance. Now, we know about the Easter Bunny.
Today, y'all, is Resurrection Sunday.
Right.
I'm gonna say that from my perspective, but
okay.
I'll let him have the Easter Bunny.
Okay, but you understand what I'm saying?
No, I do.
Where is the truth in that?
Yeah, there is not. No.
Okay.
That's a form of trickery. You know, is the objective is to make money.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. I agree, because it has nothing to do with Christ.
Yeah, and then the fact of the matter is that if I continually to tell my child a lie, when they get old enough, guess what I'm not going to have with them?
Trust.
Amen.
Trust. I think it's almost, I'm glad you used that analogy, because, you know, as some children, you know, at least in our time, I don't even know if they participate in that stuff anymore, but they had the fairy godmother, the tooth fairy. I'm trying to figure the name. The tooth fairy. You know, you lose a teeth, and you know, a couple of times when I was young, you know, I had me $1 or something up under the pillow. Then it was a couple of times what done up under that pillow, right? So I was like, well, wait a minute, what's wrong with the tooth? If they don't like me or something, you know?
That tooth was right.
Yeah, that tooth was right. It was a bad deal.
Right.
But as I grew and matured and really learned wasn't no such thing as a tooth fairy, I was like, oh, that was just a way of them giving you money to make you feel good because you lost a tooth. Okay, so we get a lot of these things from that perspective, opposed to say, look, if you behave right, or if you are brave, and let us get this tooth out your mouth when I take you to the dentist, I'm gonna give you some money.
Yes.
I think that would have been a better way of handling it. And I get it. People do things the way they do. They buy into all these forms of money-making opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, but we find that part of the world is in a make-believe state.
Yeah.
Hint, we live in a time of AI. We live in a time where it's make-believe.
Yes.
We live in that time. So it started from those moments, and it has progressed to the time that we live in today. And it's kind of like you don't know sometimes the real from the fake.
That's what I'm talking
And that ain't cool.
about.
Reality is supposed to be reality, and not reality is what it is. I don't want to get trapped in there or lost in there. So that's why a lot of that stuff I don't. You know, honestly, I don't even participate in that regard, because I got to be present at all times. I want to make honest decisions in the moment. I don't want to be caught up in something that, you know, we find out later is fake and different things of that nature.
The truth.
The truth.
That's why I came with that analogy like that, because as a child, you have to learn how to trust your parents in order to survive, or even to just understand what's going on. Because if no one told you the truth, if everything you see, and all of a sudden you go out here, all right, they're constantly telling you that the world is going to end in 1999.
That's what they said.
You understand what I'm saying?
We thought Prince was a guru, I don't know, a warlock or something. What do you know about 1999, 2019? What was that? 79.
Yeah, but look at it right now. As we sit today, I had a young man come and tell me that AI was talking to itself.
Really?
Wait a minute. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because now you under the impression that you got a computer that only operates by the programs that you put in it, has developed a train of thought.
Yeah, that's something else.
It could come up with a conscious decision to tell your child or you what you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, no, I don't.
That's not the truth.
No, thank you.
But you follow what I'm saying?
Oh, I follow exactly
that
what you're
is
saying.
not the truth. So what we're here to do, we're looking at to try to build something that is going to give you a lasting, truthful, since we didn't interject that word in there, and we also have interjected the second word that we're going to be talking about, trust into the relationship.
Right. Yeah.
Because what we're talking about is building a loving, lasting, longevity. From birth to the grave, we want you to understand the truth is what is going to keep you from hurting yourself or someone else.
I agree. The foundation of, well, let's back up for a minute. Every being, every person needs a foundation.
Absolutely.
And so the foundation typically is set by the parents or the individuals that's in control.
Right.
Right? And so you would prefer to have that foundation set by someone that you can trust. Right? So those trusting individuals should be honest.
All the time.
from the very beginning to establish a relationship that starts with telling you the truth.
Yes.
So that you would know, you can come to rely on knowing you're going to get the truth. And now it's not saying that an individual is perfect. It's not saying that. But what it is saying is that I can believe and trust in you to tell me the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when I depend on it, it doesn't cause me to be in a situation.
Yeah.
Now, that means that you're accountable for what you do based on what you've established with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that gets people back to the point of having respect, which is another one of the words that we're going to be discussing too, is having respect for an individual, enough respect to ensure that you tell them the truth
Mm-hmm.
and that they can trust you. Because once that has established itself, and if you break that trust, there has to be something that was life pressing to cause you to break that trust. It should be life altering, some to that degree, some form of an emergency
Mm-hmm.
to cause you ever to breach.
Mm-hmm.
In those instances, if it was an emergency and you had to breach to save a life, something of that magnitude, I can understand. Whether it's okay or not, I can understand.
Right.
Because whether it be okay depends on what it is.
Right.
But at least I can understand that the choice was life or death, and you chose life over death. That makes sense.
Yeah. But
I can deal with that. I can live with that.
yeah. Now, in that aspect, you're looking at it like, okay, but in that moment of passion of what you said, if it's an emergency, see, in that moment of passion, and you know that this individual has always been truthful to you, whatever they tell you, you more likely will believe.
Absolutely. I don't have no reason not to.
Because now you done built that trust.
That's right. That's a firm relationship.
Yeah. This is you building on it. This is what we that's why I'm looking at. When we come up with that analogy. That analogy. Because truth builds trust.
And that's important because as I was thinking, in this scenario, to the audience out there, why is this important?
Mm-hmm.
This is important because it starts at home. It allows
Mm-hmm.
the individual, the young child that's going to grow into an adult,
Mm-hmm.
to have a foundation that's secured on truth, that's secured on honesty, that's secured on those principles that we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
and they have respect.
Yes.
If they can have these things early, these become the pillars in the life
Mm-hmm.
of this individual, this child, this young adult, this man
Mm-hmm.
going forward that's going to do the same thing in relationships that is he or she is going to get into in their life over time.
Yes. Yes.
This is how we begin to change the narrative and change the things that has happened inside of our society, where if y'all have respect for you, why would I want to hurt you? Why would I want to injure you or take something from you or deceive you? See, because we have this big thing in the room that's called trusting.
Yes.
It's called trust.
Yes.
And if I trust you and you trust me, I'm likely not about to break that.
Yeah.
Which means I have something inside me that can combat deception.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, because if you ain't got nothing to combat deception, then the rule of thumb is, let me get down. There's no honor among thieves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. You got to watch your back at all times.
Yeah.
But if there has been this is established, we're honest with one another, and we building, I'm growing into an adult as an individual that's going to be that way, and I'm looking for that same thing that I'm going to give away to everybody that I meet.
There you go.
Now, if you do something that causes me not to trust you, then at that particular time, I can make the decision to walk away from you and not deal with you.
Right.
And if I have to, is very limited.
Yeah, there you go.
It's very limited.
Because I know you're not a trustworthy individual.
That makes for a good society.
Yeah, and this is what okay now once we get this truth and this trust thing going, we can start getting some understanding.
I'm just thinking it. That's right.
We can get some understanding about how our life is going to look down the road.
That's right.
And you know what understanding does. You know what understanding. Listen. A lot of people don't really realize what understanding really does. Understanding kills all fears.
It does.
It kills all fears.
It does.
If you understand what you are doing, you will not be afraid of it.
That's right.
And when you ain't got no fear, guess what you can do?
Peace. Come on.
How beautiful is that?
Come on. It
How
ain't
beautiful
nothing
is that?
like peace, tranquility in life where I'm living without worry.
And you know, we actually just touching the surface on this. So we're gonna come back. We're sitting down, we're gonna go into our encyclopedias.
Yes.
We're gonna go down through the neighborhood and ask different people what their opinion of truth, trust, understanding, peace. Now we know everybody claim that they love somebody, right?
That is true.
Peace do bring love.
It should.
Yeah, peace do bring love. But how do we see that love if we ain't got no truth? We don't have no trust.
Don't lie to him.
Thank you.
Why would you ever lie to him?
Thank you.
Why would you ever lie to your child that you love? Why would you cause your child to stumble in life? Why would you cause your child to be afraid of you? To have fear of you?
Come on now.
Because they can't trust the love that comes from you because you're not truthful or you haven't been truthful to them. So now they're stuck between, well, if my parents lie to me, who else in life is going to lie to me? So now you're setting up these barriers that's going to be stumbling blocks in the lives. And we can kind of see that because we're not speaking about things that has not already occurred.
Yeah.
This is what we're dealing with. The purpose of us talking about this so that we all can begin to go back and look in our lives and begin to unpack this stuff and try to begin to formulate healing. So that let's go back and unpack it and forgive and begin to build from that forgiveness moment in those points to the point where you can trust.
Yes.
See, because you can't go forward without it because everything, as we see, everything has caused us to have a society of
Mistrust.
we use mistrust, and you know some words that they use in that. I was thinking derelicts, children off the chart, and we can say that because definitely that. But we can speak on they're murdering one another. They're murdering you, us, killing their own parents.
Yes.
Grandparents not safe on the street.
Yes.
They're turning to drugs because they're confused, they're hurt. It's a number of things that is happening in the life of these individuals that has happened in the life. And we have to be a society of healing right now. We have to heal, and you can only heal if you establish a foundation of trust, because we're trying to get to peace in the life. Because once you have peace, you can arrive to the point of saying, I'm healed. Yeah,
I can start loving.
Whew.
I can open that curtain up and look out my window and see that there is sunshine.
There was a movie, and I didn't like this. I liked the actors, but I didn't like the concept of the movie.
Okay.
And that movie at the time was Waiting to Exhale. And it was these three women, and it was talking about their toxic relationship, but it was their toxic behavior that led to these type of decisions that they made that threw them into these types of relationships, right? The divorce and the the black woman husband with a married, excuse me, not married, but another woman from another persuasion. You had the other lady married. She was sleeping with a married man, and it was this horrible movie,
Yeah.
and it depicted the black males extremely bad, and it wasn't a good movie
Okay.
for men, and I really didn't like that movie and what it brought to the table as it relates to relationships. And here we are. That movie was about 30, almost 40, maybe 40 years ago, just about somewhere around up in there. And when we look at the structure then to now, it has arrived. It did its job. And so we have to go back and begin to create better scenarios, better relationships, by creating better people. Because the relationship is what it is. It's the people that creates these spiral out of control, definitely.
Yeah, isn't this is what we're saying? If you want to have a lasting relationship,
Yeah.
if you want to have a strong, lasting relationship,
Who would want to fight for something that's toxic?
hey, they doing it, but they killing each other.
No, they killing each other. I said fight for.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not fighting for it. They're fighting because of it.
Yeah.
But they're not fighting for it. They're not staying in these relationships. They're getting married over and over and over and over. And once I woke up and realized that I was a product of that as well, I had to shake that like, whoa, wait a minute, what is going on here? And that's what we have to do. Wake up and tell ourselves the truth.
That's right.
Wake up and tell ourselves the truth, because it starts with you. So that way, in the home, we can raise our children to be better individuals.
Yes. And listen, like we say, once you get that understanding and you got that peace. Now, how many of us have really actually sit down and had a moment of peace? I mean, serenity.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you look out and you see. I'm gonna give you a moment that actually just turned my heart into pure rubber. My granddaughter, not saying that any other of my grandkids are any less, but my granddaughter walked across the stage with honors, coming through, and I'm gonna be honest about it, a toxic environment.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes, I agree.
You understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
So
In spite of.
that's right. And so I started looking at what was touching her and how it was touching me. You understand what I'm saying? So I began to understand that somewhere down the line, somebody was telling her the truth. So she gained some trust in somebody to continue on with her life, irregardless when it looked like it didn't have no forward motion.
Right. We had to fight.
Yeah. Then she began to show the evidence of understanding by her voice and her approach to doing things.
That's right.
Now I see the peace in her face. I can see the peace in her face. So what they do now? That brings that love in. That love in. After you get that love, guess what's gonna happen?
You can succeed at anything that you put your.
RESEPCT.
That's right. That's right.
How Aretha said?
That's what she said.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's the crown. That's the crown. Because once you go through all of this, now you've been crowned with a long-lasting, loving relationship with your child, with your brother, your wife, your sister, your neighbor. This is what we're trying to get back to.
Amen. That's right. I agree. You know, I was sitting here as you were saying that, I was thinking about it. that is exactly what it is that we striving to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we looked at a situation and began to undo the damages
Mm-hmm.
and real critical look at how do we fix it. Well, one, you got to tell the truth.
There you go.
And then two, you got to roll your sleeves up and be willing to go to work.
Yeah.
In spite of all the stuff
That's right.
that you might have to endure, is worth it, as you said, on the other side, when you see the success, when you see the peace, when you see the love, the trust, and you see the respect. When you see this, you say, man, it was worth it.
Yes. Yes.
It was worth it. So, but listen, y'all. I want y'all to chime in because we just not starting here. Your input is valuable. We can have some real conversation. We can have some tough moments because everybody has an opinion, and so we're willing to take on those opinions and let's discuss it. Because at the end of the day,
Right.
we're trying to change our society. We're trying to ensure that our boys can be boys of substance. We're trying to ensure that our women can be women of substance, or our young girls can be girls of substance so that they can grow into women. Our boys can grow into men that can marry one another,
Yes.
right? And have a beautiful life together. But we can't get to the beauty. We got to deal with the ashes and the mud, and we got to deal with all the stuff that we got to clean this stuff to ensure that it's healthy and it's all the different things that it need to be, and they can at least have a good playing field. And I think they'll be all right at that particular point, because at the end of the day, we've done our job. And that was accountability. That just like this conversation that we're having, son and dad, is because we're looking at accountability.
That's right.
How, and that was the plea, the question, how can we do our part? We got people doing stuff all over the place, right? Good. So we have to find our niche, our role, and do our role. So we start here at home, and we want to help you start at home also.
Right. That's a beautiful way to put it. Because the moment you see that crown set upon those ingredients, that's that relationship you're looking for.
That's right.
That's the relationship you want your child. Like I said, your child, your wife, your brother, your sister, your neighbor.
That's right.
Your co-worker. You understand what I'm saying? The person that you have the most respect for is the one that you're going to have the most trouble with. And guess who that person is?
Uh-oh. Who is it?
You.
That's right.
Because it's going to be hard when you think you got to tell them a lie.
You know, in I'm using scenarios so some folks understand this here. In the church world, you know, there's this thing that we call fast.
Okay.
Right? Where we have to, for specific things, with fasting, you know, spiritual connotation attached to it. There's a thing called dieting for people that's trying to lose weight. You have to have a discipline. Right? This is a discipline.
Yes, very much so.
This is a discipline. You have to bring yourself under subjection, under some form of control. You cannot continue to allow your flesh to just have its way and do what it want to do. Because if you do so or continue to do so, it will continue to spiral out of control. And the end result is always failure.
Yeah.
The end result is always failure. And sometimes failure looks like someone being put in the ground. It looks like someone in the hospital. It looks like someone unhappy. It looks like someone blaming everybody for their mistakes.
Right.
You know, one of those things, they're never wrong. Everybody else is always wrong. You know, those type of things where you can't see you in a wrong light because you will not accept responsibility.
Right. And you know, so son, look at it like this, you know. Like I said, that crown is respect. Now, so we're talking about a word that has a range of or degree of how we use it in different situations.
Okay.
Okay. So now, the one word in there that holds the most solid foundation of them all is the lead word. If you tell me the truth,
That's the foundation.
I might just be your puppet.
That's the foundation.
You-
I think we talked about this here. I was I don't know 18, 19. I think I was more. I think I was about 19.
Okay.
The Pistons was in the playoffs, so yeah, I was about 19. And this guy, he had to be about 6'6", big old guy.
Okay.
I'm about 5'5", so we're five, not too much taller than what I am now. So I'm about 5'8", 5'9". And me and this guy, for whatever reason, we just didn't like each other. We ain't had no legitimate reason. And so we'd be looking at each other and I remember we actually had a conversation.
Okay.
We had a conversation, and in that conversation, we found that we had a lot of different things that we were similar.
Okay.
And we was able to hold conversation. It was like, you ain't that bad. So we said it to one, you ain't that bad. You ain't what I thought you was. And me and this guy became tight.
Okay.
We was running around, as young people do. We was running around. The Pistons was in the playoffs, so we all downtown. Back then that was the festivals going on, so we downtown and talking to young ladies. And I remember he said, man, I just want to be your security. I was like, what are you talking about, man? He was like, I like you, man. You fun to hang out with. You always telling the truth. I was about, running a business. I'm trying to, we trying to focus on different little scenarios to be good in life. And he just wanted to be around. So as we continued to hang out, his purpose was to be the bodyguard. So I was always with somebody. People like, well, who's this guy with this big old guy? So we made it work in that relationship. But it started with, we were able to hold a conversation with one another, and we didn't destroy each other.
Right.
Because we could have easily took it there, but we did not. We had a conversation and found out that we had a lot of stuff in common, like producing music, rapping. Back then we was rapping and all that kind of stuff. And so we became real good friends in that regard. And the reason I even said that is because we have to conversate.
Yeah, you got to communicate.
We have to conversate and not be willing to destroy or be closed-minded where you can't hear somebody.
Right. One thing about it, one thing we got to understand is humans. You ain't gonna ever get over this. I don't care how you put it. It's gonna be with you from the day you're born to the day you die. You are a creature of learned behavior.
That is true.
If don't nobody teach you it, you will never know it.
That's true.
So if you want like what we're saying here, if you want to have a lasting relationship, that's even with your heavenly Father, you must be truthful right off the bat.
That's right.
If it ain't no truth in it, it's gonna fail from the moment you open your mouth.
I can attest to it. My growth came from being truthful. Yes. I've always had good relationships. I had meaningful friendships because I wasn't a liar.
Okay.
That never was my thing, telling lies. I wasn't into that. And today, because of relationships that I've built, I can pick up the phone and call them and get stuff done.
All right.
People call me all the time to get stuff. Well, hold on, let me make a phone call. I can get stuff done. People can call because we can rely on one another.
And what do they call it? Trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
Because I know I can call. I get on, Bishop, I need you to do so and so and so. I'm calling you. Why? Because it's a trust factor there.
That's correct.
Okay? And see, like I said, if we want this thing to work, what we call society, we have to be truthful with one another.
That is correct.
You know what I mean?
That is absolutely
We
correct.
must absolutely have the truth. When somebody see you, they see that glow on you, they know this person can be trusted.
You know what? It works with you,
Yes.
not without you.
It can't work without you. You know what I mean? But I'm guarantee you, if you took the time out and just said, well, hey, look, today, and I'm gonna be honest with you, at one point in my life, I lied a lot. But it didn't get me very far. It pushed people away from me. The thing I craved the most was relationships. And I found myself pushing myself away from what I wanted with misguided words. I'm not going to tell you the whole truth. I'm going to tell you part of it. That's still a lie.
That's right. That's right. Be man enough,
Yeah,
be woman enough
that's right.
to tell the truth.
That's right.
Don't be partial telling stuff.
I'm just saying, we're going to beat this word truth up for a minute because it's important.
It is.
I mean, it's the lead word in whatever we do. If you got truth in your heart, if you got truth in your speech, if you got truth in your walk, here you come, and the first thing they're gonna say, I can trust him with anything.
And that's what people say.
Yeah.
Think about the times that you've heard people say, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I can trust my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I know who you can call. He'll make sure that you tight. Call my guy. Call dad. Call her. You know, I've heard these conversations for years, and every time that I heard it, I confirmed it, reconfirmed it in my own spirit that, right, I'm going to take care of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything that I can to ensure that I take care of that.
Because that's me. Because I have learned how to be an honest individual.
That's correct.
Like I say, remember, we are creatures of learned behavior. And if somebody, everywhere you go, all you hear is lies, check their home front.
Yeah.
I don't care how old you is.
That's right.
Check their background.
That's right.
Look at their resume. You understand what I'm saying? What does it say? Henry can be trusted. Little Johnny is a liar. You don't want to be like that.
You don't want to be labeled like anybody want to mess with you.
Yeah. So we want you to get to understanding this. These 5 words, this ingredient, truth, trust, understanding, peace, love, crowns you with respect.
We cooking here. We cooking a little
Yes.
bit. Hey, we cooking.
Yes.
We trying to cook. We cooking something now.
Yeah. Crowns you with respect.
That's right.
It gives you all that, and you wonder why nobody want to be around you. Who want to be around a liar?
Nobody. What they say, you lying to kick it. You don't have to lie to kick it. Tell the truth. If you know something, you know something. If you don't know something, you don't know. Just listen. Sometimes it's okay to just listen. You might learn something so that you can have something to talk about, right? And it's okay. It's kind of like ain't nobody want to be around someone that's always a liar. Oh, yeah, he about to tell a lie. Nobody want to be around that.
Well, no, they're gonna stop you before you get there.
Wait a minute, and they not gonna never trust you to do nothing.
That's right.
And you wonder why they don't want nobody to be like, no, I'm not messing with that guy.
And you better not let him in my house.
So it matters.
Yeah.
It matters.
Yeah, it does.
So we get into it. So I don't know. I think we'll wrap it for the day because we got some way more to talk about as we continue to unpack trust and the rest of the words. And yeah, I think we'll table. What you think?
I think that'll be good.
Okay.
I think
So we'll
that'll be
table
good.
it for right now, and I hope that we've given you a little bit to talk about. But at the end of the day, make sure that you subscribe.
Yeah.
Make sure that you like,
Yeah.
and make sure that you share.
Yeah, definitely.
This is It Starts at Home. I'm Bishop Herman Starks.
And I'm Deacon Isaac Foster, and it's been our pleasure.
God bless you.
Thank you.
All right.
That was good, son.
Yes.
That was good.